Good day, learners. In this lesson, we're going to discuss the brain and how it works. Our brain is like an incredible living machine. This fist-sized 3-pound organ is responsible for the overall functioning of our body. It functions as a commander center that directs action happening physiologically. It also serves as the key information processing unit that interprets the world of our experience and vital response unit that allows us to interact to the world. The brain is like a capsule of our consciousness, of what we know, and of our memories. How it works is so amazing that it gives us sophisticated intelligence way beyond that of any other living creations in this planet. The brain, as the core processing unit in the body, makes learning possible. Specifically, it is the main organ responsible for performing tasks like reading, writing, and computing numbers. Try to reflect on the many things you do when studying. Can you imagine the host of things that your brain does as you study? Practically, everything is the work of the brain. The brain receives information from the environment, which is processed, integrated with existing stored information, and utilized to perform tasks. A special system in the brain called working memory makes it possible to access the stored information for use on specific activities. Like, for example, when reading, working memory enables you to remember visual and auditory sensory inputs. This or the information received from what you see and hear by means of the lessons taught by your teachers and allows you to read written information at hand. Because of its role in your learning and development, it is imperative to care for it and nurture its gift. So let's just have a basic understanding of the functions and major parts of the brain. So we have three major parts of the brain, which is the hindbrain, midbrain, and our forebrain. So what is hindbrain? So our hindbrain is responsible for our instinctive automatic behavior and serves as survival functions. Under this, we have also the medulla, cerebellum, pons, and the reticular activating system. So our medulla controls the vital functions like respiration, blood circulation, digestion, and also our heart rate. The the cerebellum regulates posture, balance, and muscular coordination. And we have also the pons, in which it regulates movement, sleep, and arousal. And lastly, we have the reticular activating system. Our reticular activating system regulates attention, movement, sleep, waking, and reflexes. So this is the picture in which we can see our hindbrain. We can see here the pons, the medulla, the cerebellum. Next is our midbrain. So this part is the conduction and switching center of the brain that enables responses like muscle movements to happen and for auditory and visual system processing to transpire. Like, for example, going back to reading activity, it is important that you are able to make sense of what you see by accurately perceiving letters, words, and symbols. Another examples is following verbal directions. This does not only require to hear the words but to recall and follow the sequence of instruction. Problems with auditory or visual processing may result in certain learning disabilities like dyslexia and central auditory processing disorder. So this is our midbrain. Next is our forebrain. So our forebrain is in charge of our intellectual activity and consciousness. Under our forebrain, we have here the cerebrum, thalamus, hypothalamus, corpus callosum, and our pituitary gland. So what is cerebrum? So our cerebrum acts as the executive center of our brain that is responsible for remembering, learning, and thinking, as well as taking charge of language and emotions. Our thalamus relays sensory information. Next is we have also the hypothalamus. So this is a secret hormones and it controls physiological functions like temperature, hunger, and tears. Next is we have also the corpus callosum, which connects the two hemisphere of our brain, which is the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. And lastly, we have the pituitary gland, in which it is the master gland that secretes hormones and it controls our endocrine system. So these are the major parts of our brain: the forebrain, midbrain. So we can also see here our cerebrum, the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, corpus callosum, and the ventricles. Next is lateralization of the brain. Are you a left-brained or a right-brained person? So if your answer neither one of it, how many brains do you have? Alright, so before you get stumped by the question, rest assured that you will still have one brain inside your head. The magnificence of the brain and how it works attracted huge attention and interest to know more and get a deeper understanding about it. Hence, numerous researchers came out to enlighten us. One remarkable feat was the work of the brain surgeons and researchers named Joseph Vaughan and Roger Wolcott Sperry. They investigated the brain's function and found out that there are different ways of processing information in the two hemispheres of our brain, each having distinct abilities to handle different mental tasks. The question is, how did they do that? They simply researched on patients who underwent split brain operations that reduce epileptic seizure attacks. So we discussed our cerebrum a while back. So do you remember the cerebrum? It is actually the large part of the brain that is responsible for language and thinking. It is known as the seat of complex thought, given its vital roles in human functionings. It was discovered that the cerebrum has a key fissure that seemingly divides the cerebrum in half. The half are thought as two hemispheres, each with distinct intellectual and emotional functions. In short, each hemisphere manifests different abilities. In general, the left hemisphere controls the right side of the body. It is responsible for the logical, intellectual functions necessary for understanding, writing, and speaking, On the other hand, the right hemisphere controls the left side of the body. It takes care of the creative, intuitive, and emotional aspects. So, in other words, our left brain functions are the following. We have the analytic thought, logic, language, reasoning, science and math, writing, number skills, and right hand control. And the right hemisphere, we have the art awareness, creativity, imagination, intuition, insight, holistic thought, music awareness, 3D forms, and they are left handed. Take note that dominance is not necessarily exclusive to the hemisphere. The ideal condition is to manifest a balance of two. Opens to varied ways of learning, commitment to growth, as well as nurturing relationships and being guided by upright values are key elements to achieving a holistic, balanced life. Next is the whole brain theory. The groundbreaking brain researchers of Sperry and Bogan inspired William Edward Herman to dig deeper into how the brain works. He developed the whole brain theory. So, what is a whole brain theory? It is another perspective of looking at the brain. He studied results of EEG or electroencephalograph. It is a brain wave machine that scans and discovered four major types of thinking, which are the analytical, practical, relational, and experimental. The whole brain theory, whole brain thinking pursues a holistic approach by encouraging you to make use of all the thinking abilities available to you, rather than focusing or specializing in one mode of thinking, either left or right brain, to perform tasks. Herman developed a standardized test called Herman Brain Dominance Instrument or HBDI to find out one's preferred thinking style. To better understand this test, a general description of each thinking style is provided as follows. You need to keep in mind that each thinking style has a preferred way of learning or doing things. First is we have the analytical. Under this, we have the rational, logical, factual, objective, quantitative, focuses in the here and now, and takes logical approach in problem solving. We have also the practical. Under this, organize, step-by-step procedures count, action-oriented, detailed plans are important, consistent, and also practical in solving problems. Next is the relational. Feeling oriented, we have the intuitive, attuned with others' feelings, communication is important, values a relationship with others, nurturing, and teamwork to solve problems. And lastly, we have the experimental. Creative, artistic, holistic, integrative, imaginative, follows gut feel in solving problems, likes to try new things, take risks, and future oriented. Being aware of your preferred thinking style or your dominant approach to learning or doing things should drive you to look for other aspects of learning styles that may help you to develop and maximize your performance in other mental tasks. In group work, awareness of others' preferred ways of thinking or doing things will give you an idea of how to balance your team's approach and maximize opportunities to access different ways to achieve desired results. Next is developing your creativity. Creative thinking. So, what is creative thinking? When we say creative thinking, it is an expansive way of driving your thoughts to venture into the realm of responsibilities. It is thinking outside the box. Instead of simply finding ideas, it pushes you to invent and make something new. It is an amazing feat of the mind. Take the hot air balloon as an example. It is said that the inventors got the idea to create a flying balloon after watching a piece of clothing being lifted into the air from the smoke of a nearby fireplace. From that image, their balloon project began. Next is creativity. Creativity does not rest on intelligence alone. Creativity accesses different modes of thinking to make a breakthrough. Here are some techniques that you can use to allow further stimulation of your brain to work in a more exciting way. We have the associative thinking. So when we say associative thinking, it is a mental technique that lets you explore an idea by considering all possible areas related to the topic at hand to get fresh insights. This kind of thinking exhausts all ideas you can connect with your topic or problem. Like for example, so you need to write an essay about gardens, a topic that may not immediately register as exciting to you. To help you begin your writing, you may explore your thoughts by making some associations. Here's an example. Do you have any other ideas, feelings, images can associate with the word garden? You may add and write them on a diagram with other associations given. Try to write a paragraph using some ideas generated out of doing associative thinking. Next is mind mapping. Mind mapping is a creative way of exploring ideas through a graphic or visual presentation. It uses mental skills that enhance brain activity to produce ideas, learn through clearer thinking, and perform better. What you will need are simply materials, a piece of paper, crayons, or other coloring materials like pencils, and of course, your brain. According to Thomas Edison, I haven't failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's the end of our discussion. Thank you for listening.